Before we get started, I want to present this topic in a progressive format, where we compare the various versions of Goku throughout the Buu Saga. We'll do this by displaying his showings against the many variants of Majin Buu throughout the arc, so that we can analyze and develop these fighters and have a more concise conclusion on the scaling of these characters in comparison to one another. I also want to address the circulation of the Gohan is the strongest unfused fighter statement that was supposedly from an interview with Toriyama, which is thrown around a lot in the community as the end-all be-all of the topic. However, through a lot of digging through mini guides and archives and interviews with Toriyama, I haven't found any credible source or statements to support the existence of this interview, besides he said, she said narrative, which is just, is most likely just widespread information created by the fan base from people who spread this narrative to claim Gohan is the victor, which in turn made it come off as fact due to hearing it so often within the community. But until the existence of this interview is found and backed up as being real, the statement would be deemed non-existent. And to further know this, but with that said, let's dive into the actual video. First, let's start with the underdog, Goku. Goku, having died due to sacrificing himself for the sake of the Earth, has continued to increase his strength even in death and surpass his previous levels since the Cell games through the training and pushing himself to newer heights for 7 years straight. This in turn made him eventually unlock the Super Saiyan 2 transformation that Gohan first obtained in his battle against Cell, and was able to go even beyond that with his new and the most powerful form yet, Super Saiyan 3. This version of Goku, who we will call Angel Goku for simplicity's sake, displays his Super Saiyan 3 power, which was shown to be capable facing off against the fat version of Majin Buu, and showing power on par, if not surpassing that of Buu's. The explanation as to why he is stronger is due to Goku later in the arc, who confirms that if he wanted to, he could have beaten Buu, but decided against that as he wanted to give the next generation a shot at him, due to Goku feeling that, due to him being dead, he's no longer responsible for being the savior of Earth, but rather believes in the strength of the Earth's next defender, like a sage-like creature or sage-like kind of mentor. That was very brief, but there isn't much to be said about this section for Goku besides just his fight with Buu, and a scaling that brings the conclusion of him being strong enough to defeat Buu is just him admitting they stronger. But we already established Goku's power, let's move on to Gohan's. Throughout the series, Gohan has been known for his monstrous potential, which has on numerous occasions been shown or stated to surpass that of Goku's time to time. Even during his lowest moments, such as in the early parts of the Buu Saga, Gohan is the rustiest he's ever been, and not quite the same level as when he defeated Cell. However, he's still hyped up by Goku and Vegeta as being capable of potentially surpassing them, even in their current states if he got really angry. This just speaks of the insanely high latent power that Gohan has hidden deep within him, which is then displayed when the Elder Kai was able to release Gohan's latent power. In the words of the Elder Kai himself, and in numerous material, it states that this power-up that Gohan will achieve is more than just your standard limit-breaking abilities that others such as the Elder Guru and Korin presented to us throughout the series previously. Instead, it would bring out strength beyond the person's normal limits. This ritual in turn made Gohan so strong that he annihilated Super Buu, who possessed strength that is stated numerous times by Piccolo in many guides to be above that of the fat version of Majin Buu that Goku faced. This detail would be important as to why Gohan's strength was unrivaled, even by Goku, during this highlight of Gohan's newfound power. As mentioned before, Super Buu is a combination of both good and bad splits of Majin Buu recombining and having greater strength than before. Super Buu is a fairly powerful threat that even Angel Goku more than likely couldn't even defeat. This is due to his feats and statements of him being comparable to the power of Gotenks, who at the time is stated to surpass the strength of Goku and Vegeta from sources such as the Daizenshu and El Manga Legendario. Adding on to this, Piccolo states that Buu has never fought someone as strong as this before, which would mean that Gotenks possesses more power than Goku did. If you want to use the anime, it states that the battle between the two was the battle of the strongest versus the strongest, many times from the narrator in anime Daizenshu. So yeah, Gotenks is no slouch when it comes to his power either. This will of course scale to Gohan as he's stated to be stronger than Gotenks, and we should see how the way he demolished Super Buu with ease, whereas Gotenks was struggling a lot against Super Buu. I'm pretty sure this much is clear in terms of Gohan's power being beyond that of his father's at the time. If that isn't enough, he's just blatantly stated up to 6 times to be called either the strongest warrior or a warrior surpassing the strength of Goku from various reliable sources such as the second Daizenshu, Super Exciting Guide, and many more that confirm Gohan has surpassed Goku in every metric as a fighter. This is why in this portion I firmly believe that Gohan would defeat this variant of Goku with absolute confidence, since everything is pretty solid and straight to the point when it goes to Gohan's superiority over Angel Goku's power, with his narrative and scaling that he's a warrior who's fully utilizing this beyond Goku level dormant power that was already hyped up early in the Buu Saga. With that being clear, I will give Gohan the W for this section, and let's move on to the next. However, from this point on, Gohan's win against Goku is less certain due to Goku's strength having increased since his fight with the fat version of Majin Buu, and gaining a power that rivals Gohan. This is due to the December 2018 V-Jump guide regarding the various evolutions of Majin Buu throughout history. For the description of Buuhan, it states, he caught Gohan off guard and absorbed him, gaining power on par with Super Saiyan 3 Goku, which some might look at and be confused as to where the Sun power-up could have derived from, since Goku at that point were just sitting around observing Gotenks and Gohan getting stronger than he was, while he was just sitting out in the Kaioshin realm. There is a possible explanation as to where the Sun increase of power could have derived from, which would be from the Elder Kai trading his remaining 1000 years of life to Goku, but this also in turn could have provided Goku more energy due to the excessive amount of life energy that would have been poured into him. Time and time again in Dragon Ball, everything and everyone that is living possesses ki. Throughout the series, life energy can be provided to others to increase their strength, with examples such as the Spirit Bomb, which is just the user begging for others to provide them with ki to increase their strength. More blatant examples are more direct showings of people giving their ki to others, such as Piccolo receiving ki from Gohan and Krillin for a power-up against Frieza, or when Vegeta passes on his energy to Goku for extra strength against Jiren. But moving back onto Goku and his significant power-up, one might bring up the previously mentioned strongest warrior statements for Gohan, and while it is true that Gohan was stated stronger than Goku, the statements are in regards to the present tense. For example, Buu is called the strongest Majin in the second Daizenshuu, even though this would be false if we didn't apply it to the present tense, because obviously he gets much stronger due to his absorption of Gohan, becoming Buuhan. Buuhan himself just affirms that his strength was greater than he was as Gotenks, so we will have to take those statements as in the moment rather than the future for everything to make sense. As for this section, they're pretty much relative in power based on the evidence presented so far. Some may argue pretty much that Goku stating that Gohan can now best Buu after his fusion time runs out implies that Gohan may still have an edge over Goku, while others may argue that the statement that Goku only decides to let Gohan get the victory over Buu is due to his goal to let the next generation defeat Buu rather than himself. You can also argue that even if they're relative in strength, Gohan just out-edges him in terms of stamina, so overall Gohan is the victor, but I'll leave this portion up to you for the interpretation. Now, the fight is completely one-sided in favor of Goku, with numerous statements reinforcing his superiority, with statements such as Vegito being comprised of the combination of the two strongest warriors on Earth and in the universe, being Goku and Vegeta of course. Various other statements like the Daizenshuu, the Super Exciting Guide, and many other supplementary materials support this. Some may argue that Goku is afraid of Super Buu, and believe that fusing is a necessity to argue that Gohan is stronger. However, this isn't inherently true, as Goku and Vegeta's strength was reduced to their small size being comparable to that of a flea inside of Buu's body. The anime Daizenshuu states that Goku and Vegeta's small size has crippled their power to less than 1% of their true power, and Goku can hold his own against a clone equal to Gohan in his weakened state. But again, this is an anime-only guide, so the less than 1% statement is only for the anime continuity. Here's where we get into the really ridiculous scaling for Goku for both of the continuities of the story. If you consider the statements from the anime and the anime guys that Kid Buu is the strongest Majin compared to the others before him, which would include Buuhan, and Goku can face him pretty much on equal footing as statements and his performance as Kid Buu suggests, this would just of course mean that Goku is as strong as someone who is stronger than Buuhan, who is a being comprising Gohan's strength plus more. If you don't believe that Kid Buu is stronger than Buuhan, then don't worry, there's still way more even when disregarding their statements. Kid Buu, even if not stronger than Buuhan, is still deemed the strongest in the universe alongside Goku. Many times, Goku thinks that losing this battle would have resulted to the end of everything and everyone, which would include Gohan, who's in the universe. Some might get desperate and use the statements from L manga stating that Gohan and Gotenks would have defeated Buu if they had been present in that battle. However, the wording is interpreted a bit off as it says Gotenks and Gohan rather than Gotenks or Gohan, which would imply that with both of them together alongside Goku and Vegeta, they would have had an easier time gathering the energy facing Buu rather than Gotenks or Gohan just manhandling him in a 1v1 fight. This interpretation is hinted at as when Goku thinks that Vegeta would have summoned them to partake in the battle against Kid Buu. Vegeta denies bringing him over in exchange for even greater power, which ends up being the Super Spirit Bomb. The Spirit Bomb being used only cements the scaling of Kid Buu being this level above Gohan, as not only is he able to hold and push back a Spirit Bomb comprising the energy of not only Gohan himself, but also the energy gathered across the entire universe in the afterlife as a means to finish him off once and for all, is pretty telling of the kind of monster that Goku was swapping hands and fighting against that entire time. But that is all for the video, and I would say that again, in my opinion, Goku is a clear winner of the potential fight between father and son, and I hope that the video at least makes you find a newfound perspective on the topic, at the very least. If you have any of your own arguments that you would like to express, please comment them below and I will gladly respond to them as soon as I can. And thank you all for watching, and until next time, please take care.